Hello and welcome to another Wingspan Tournament match. This is a special one, as it is against none less than Flan, whom you might know as one of the biggest Wingspan content creators. And this will be sort of a double feature as we have done in the past, so you'll be able to watch this game from his perspective as well as from my perspective, and you will find the links to the corresponding video in each video description. So check this video's description for a link to Flan's video describing his view of things. So they are going first. This is a tournament match of the Indian Skimmer Skirmish. So we only play each other once, and this is happening now. So, my good old friend the Chaffinch is here in my opening hand, a bird that I like a lot and that I definitely want to pick. Also, Tree Swallow is a very good starter for card drawing and finding new options. So, without having seen my bonus cards, I would choose these two birds, and the bonus cards do not really change anything, so I will definitely take the Diet Specialist because I don't like this wheat feeder thingy. So I think we're not going to need any of the other birds. Starling is of course nice when you have food surplus, but I cannot see how this is going to be happening here. Skimmer is also fine for the 6 points out of 2 food, another brown power, but I will just keep these 2 birds and these 3 food, which enable me to play them both without gaining extra food. We'll play Tree Swallow first and dig for some more cards. We'll play also Chaffinch in round 1 to have a second brown power. And yeah, we'll see how this game unfolds. Yeah, there is no bird in the tray that I really find overly appealing. I mean, one could discuss Lesser Whitethroat, which wants a long row of birds, which sort of the Chaffinch also wants, but the Chaffinch only wants it when there is enough cards that we can tuck. So Flan is a card drawing machine themselves. So in terms of pure card amount, we're behind already. The Roddy Duck would be actually the nicer bird for the Chaffinch compared to the Tree Swallow, but the Tree Swallow always scores points on activation, so that's a little upside at least. But I wouldn't be too unhappy if I found a duck like this as well, in order to fill up my hands and later feed the Chaffinch with it. So for the moment, as I have no food supply whatsoever, I would assume, if nothing changes, to play the Chaffinch into the forest. But if I find good arguments, I would rather play it into the grassland, because in the late game 4-point scoring via egg laying, I can then tuck all the surplus cards into the Chaffinch. So the conditions that we would need to meet for that would be either we draw other good forest birds, for example, such as point scoring small birds, or preferably birds that generate extra food. Second condition would be we find an extraordinary grasslands bird that draws cards, which in this game, in this expansion, is I think only the power 4 birds. But if we were able to find a killdeer or a Franklin's gull, we would of course gravitate towards playing the Chaffinch in the grassland, because drawing cards and immediately recycling the unwanted ones does sound like a good deal. But for the time being, we're just starting to dig, which is what they did as well, surprisingly without laying eggs before. I'm curious to see their explanation why they didn't do it. Because apparently they weren't in a hurry to find birds from the tray. So they could have easily taken the extra time to lay eggs, as I did, because I'm not too fond of these birds either. I mean, Ibis is a good card, and it qualifies for my bonus card, but it's nothing that I really need, which is also true to say about the Merganser. And no, the Diver is actually nice. Turkey is not particularly helpful, although, I mean, if I am able to keep it until the late game, it would be nice, of course. But I'm not sure if I can do that. And the Diver is really nice. It has the White Storks ability and the Dipper ability. So it could be an option to grab the 2 fish from the bird feeder to play it, but that would cost 3 actions to get it down. But then it would also generate a huge card advantage. So let's try that. Flan is beginning to work on the bird feeder as well. So we might have a chance to just nick the food that we need. Yes, there we go. Bee Eater. Okay, so we have to hurry up now because this fish will be re-rolled in any second. So now we have 3 actions left and we can get to 3 brown powers, which could be enough to tie for the round goal. Could be, doesn't need to be. Because they do have 2 food left. Can generate more food with 3 actions. Well, it will not be. So I will expect that they will play a 3rd brown power, but it wouldn't be too trivial for them to. So apparently they hit with the Bee Eater. It quite regularly does not. That depends. I recently had a game where I hit all my Bee Eater rolls, but on top of him there lived the not so great crested flycatcher, which didn't roll a grub in the entire game, which was a bit bizarre, but I had the other way around as well. So not hitting anything with the Bee Eater when it's really, really crucial to hit is something that many Wingspan players can probably relate to. So I will at the moment expect that they'll reach 3 brown powers, but potentially and hopefully not 4. So I could be in for a tie here. That being said, I will draw cards first in order to assemble clues as to where to play the common chaffinch. And Bee Eater hitting again. So 2 actions left. We will do this first and look. Ooh, Nutcracker. That's a massive point scoring option. That could be an interesting thing for the. Oh, hello there. I was just about to say we can do this interesting forest, but then maybe we don't. Also, I think Horned Lark, OP though it may be, can be tucked. Hawfinch does generate extra wheat, which could be interesting for the Nutcracker. But given that I found Franklin Skull, I think our main focus might not be the forest. Although, I mean, I have 2 strong wetlands birds already, so it's not even sure that I want to resort to the grassland actually, but I think Hawfinch is just also not good enough, so let's just pick that red start and see where we're going. I mean, I will have to lay eggs at some point, so I think it's just fine to set up the Insano grassland with Chaffinch and Gull, although it's important to note that they don't do much work. So it's 1 egg to draw 2 cards, which then scores 2 points, so that alone is not an engine. We need to find something on top of it. So there is, as expected, the 3rd brown power, so I won't play the Chaffinch now, because it's more important to get food. So I'll play the Nutcracker, and what exactly the details of whichever engine will be has to be determined later. Oh, another great flip here with the Imperial Eagle. So it's apparent that we will draw cards. We'll also grab the Imperial Eagle. We could also, I mean, the Diver also resets the tray, not the feeder. So we could also simply deny it. But it's good enough that we also want to take it. Good for this, good for that, so it's not really a matter of discussion. So I don't think we need a Pied Build Greed, because we have better options to draw cards. Although I'm still not 100% sure where and how to build which engine. The Hummingbird could play a role actually. But it's also... yeah, we'll see. Sheesh. What the fuck is happening? Forgive me. This is... okay, yeah. As much as I like Woodpecker and Purple Martin, I think at this point we have an obligation. And I think the Red Start won't have a job here. And the Purple Martin will. So, sorry Flan. I had to pick some power birds here. Feel free to take the Woodpecker and enjoy it. But the problem is, okay, so now I cannot do any more card drawing because I found really insane amounts of insane birds. The important thing is now to get them into play. Which is not as trivial because I don't have much food to begin with. So it's clear that we want a line with that one kind of early, and this one to the right of the Chaffinch, and somewhere, and the Franklin Skull ideally to the right of the Martin and the Chaffinch, and somewhere in between we can have the Raven as a food supply, and maybe even also the Hummingbird. So they've drawn birds. I will have to draw birds as well. I think, sad as it is, the Wild Turkey is the one bird that doesn't have an obvious assignment. I mean, apart from being relevant for my bonus card. The same could be said about the Eastern Imperial Eagle, but that's plainly better, so we do keep that. We need to get food. We need one mouse for the Raven. And we will discard this for an extra food of whichever quality. We won't do that. So One line of play could be we play the hummingbird first, lay eggs 2 times, then play the raven. And then lay eggs on the raven. In order to win this round goal, we would need 5 eggs on platform nest, which is kind of difficult, so I'm aiming for participation here, but not for winning this round goal. So there is the house finch. So if we don't have space in our grassland for the house finch, and we cannot afford to take another card drawing action now, so I have to unhappily leave this to Flan and concentrate on my own engine. So the 2 options would be hummingbird into raven, or just food into raven, in which case we could potentially discard the hummingbird to improve the food gaining action, but actually I'd rather prefer to have the hummingbird on board. Because in the past it has shown that relying on a single raven for the entire food supply doesn't really work well. Because it's only 2 food per turn, and when this raven comes down the game will be half over, more than half over in terms of action cubes actually, so it's probably better to have the hummingbird on top. So we will lay eggs 2 times, throw 2 berries, play the raven, and with the last action lay eggs again, filling up the raven and thus qualifying for the round goal, and starting to collect the food that we need for the later engine, for which I hope we'll have enough time left. Here, catch. It is actually questionable whether all this is going to work out. Maybe this bird is actually too much. Maybe it doesn't. Because I also have this Imperial Eagle, which I want to play, which actually needs space in the grassland, so I cannot play the chaffinch at all. And this is sad news. I mean, I could, but then I would have to skip on the purple martin, and then the question would be, which of these birds actually does perform better? Martin offers 3 egg spaces for the last round goal, which could be crucial. Yeah, but in any case we need the raven now. Anything else we can see later. And we will need the grub and the fish in any case, so... Probably the martin is better, because on every activation it scores points, but it doesn't reduce the cards in hand, so that we are still able to play that big bird. Yeah. I think, unfortunately, I cannot play my favorite bird. One of my favorite birds. There are many birds that I like, but I particularly do like the chaffinch, which is the the poor man's Chiff Chaff. It's not a coincidence that they are named alike, I think. So we do need these. And we can throw berries again. So the next two actions will be playing the martin, playing the gull, and just hitting lay eggs. Until we can play Imperial Eagle and hopefully another bird. So none of these birds really help, because we don't need a bird for the forest. We don't have space for another grasslands bird. And there is no obvious application for the little owl. Although in one of my first videos I had this little owl nightingale combo, which was really cute. Not really amazing, but I mean it was amazing in the sense that I got to play birds that I rarely play. So let's go martin. So with the eagle we will have two birds for this bonus card already, and hopefully we'll be able to find more. Flycatcher, so maybe they will throw some grubs at us, which I would totally appreciate. Oh, they have a honey buzzard. I didn't realize. Must be new. They're all about the grubs, so they have taken this the common swift, right? Because that looks like the obvious bird for them. So in the void I could imagine picking the hermit thrush, if they leave it for me, because it's qualified for my bonus card and it's quite big points, and you can pay it with berries and the grubs, which could be abundant. So let's see. Yes, grubs, nice. First some eggs, and then some cards. I can draw the thrush with a martin, so I just pick random ones. I don't need any of these, so grab it. There will be berries enough, but I might want to play one this round already, right? I mean, there are 3 actions left. I can draw cards once more. By which I mean lay eggs. So yeah, I just take more generic food now. Will I play this? If I am deciding to play that, I can still grab it. So the plan would be lay eggs again, find a second bird that I can play this round in order to compete for the round goal, or simply, which is the more likely option, find cards that I can use for the Imperial Eagle. So yeah, this is as expected. Draw. I mean, the Junko is nice, but we're not going to use Puffin. Hello. Well, this game is going places. So that also makes it pretty clear that this Merganser is not going to be played. And this will then surprisingly take fish. and we can continue to throw berries at people, especially Flan. Yeah, that's interesting. So, I mean, we can play 2 birds, which is 6 food. Not much is going to change with regard to that. The only question is which birds. And I think we have 3 birds in hand that we don't need anymore, so that would be an argument for the eagle. So yeah, let's just do that. I mean, we want that in any case, and it does improve our egg laying because we can use the surplus food now. Start saving the food on the cavity nests already. I think I will need to play the puffin now because that gives me more time to potentially adjust the bonus card. Because it might be that the bonus card says do something else than playing the Hermit Thrush. Although I'd rather want to play both in order to fulfill the requirements of my diet specialist. House Wren and bonus bird, so they are ahead now, but we can counter this. 2 fish, obviously, and I think 2 grubs is fine. Birdbander is better than the Visionary Leader, I think. Because I would need 4 activations of the Gull. This is 4 points already. Birdbender is fine. Let's just do that. So, let's see how well Flan's Honey Buzzard rolls grubs. Quite well, actually. And they can go to the Common Swift directly, so that's also pretty nifty point scoring engine. And also lots of egg spaces. So that will still be a difficult game. I think I will just leave the bird bender as is and be happy with the 4 points. And concentrate on laying eggs next round. So I will use the Franklin's Gull once to get more cards that can cycle through the Purple Martin. I will probably activate the Raven once in order to get food to spend on eggs. So yeah, that's a well-fed Common Swift. I might want to deny the blue-winged warbler. It's a bird which is quite easy to play for them. And maybe also for me, we'll see. Do this, discard a wheat to place another egg. Yes, just draw 2 randoms first. These birds don't matter. And pick this. I don't want to throw food at them. So I will use the raven once to generate food, which I can then recycle. So, sheesh, it's winter. Where did that fly come from? I call a flycatcher. Flan, can I borrow your flycatcher, please? Well, that was slightly confusing. I wanted to count the cavity nest spaces. I have 4, 5, 8, 10. They have... Spending nice my view. This is so annoying. Is it too much to ask to decide for myself when I want to take a look and when not? So it's 5, 7, 9, 12. It's annoying. So it will be definitely necessary to play this bird. So, and until further notice, so what was my count? 13? 12? 12, right? 7, 9, 12 so far. And my count is 6, 12. I was hoping to be ahead on this round goal, but at the moment I'm not ahead. I'm rather tied for it. No. That is not an option. It doesn't have space. Also, it wouldn't be good. So we're not doing this anymore. We will do that, however. Another very useless bird. We're not going to use this, and we're not going to use this. So I think the decision against the chaffinch was right. The engine almost unfolded as early as possible under house rules and without any engine part being in the opening hand. But still it was a bit late, so it did help me to play the birds that I wanted, but I didn't have really much time to look for other birds or score many points in my grassland for that matter. And also imagine if I haven't had these lucky draws like Puffin and Imperial Eagle, this would be a really disappointing engine actually. So no, I think it's fine, but I'm not very sure that these very prominent birds are actually good enough to beat Flan's engine. But we'll see. I want to do this. Doesn't really matter. I'm not going to do this. I will do this. That would have been... no, not really. I didn't have any space. Skip this. Skip this. So I can score 5, 6 points. I can score 7 points by just playing that warbler, which is what I'm going to do then. because I have done all I could for the round goal. And I have to... Now I have... Actually, I have 3 spare eggs that I can spend to play the Swarber, so... I can generate this extra point without compromising the round goal, which is fine. So... I fear that they will play another cavity nest bird and fill it, actually, because there is no reason why they would generate so many grubs. Okay, that's a good bird, but it's not a cavity nest bird, so that's good news, actually. So that means that the tie for the round goal should be official. And it further means that this here can be played here. Careful not to spend the wrong egg. And yeah, let's see. So... we will be behind on eggs and behind on tucked cards. So I would assume if their bonus cards are good, they will win. But really, it's not really impressive. We have 10 points on bonus cards. This is not amazing at all. We're also quite tight on the round goals. We might be ahead on points on birds. But I think overall, in most categories, we are even or behind. Points on birds is, I think, the only one that we win. So, nah, I'm skeptical. I think this hasn't been enough. Let's see. Yeah, this is the good category. 5 behind on bonus cards. That's not good. There they will overtake us probably, or I catch up at least, and they have more tucked cards. Yes. Yeah, so it was a good game. Nice score, but it was by no means enough to beat that what Will did, which is another example of Raven doesn't do much. It would have maybe been better to ignore either Raven or Gull, or even both, because I would have had options to build a different engine, although I don't think that the other engines would have scored this point, and they surely wouldn't have beaten this score, so there was not much that I could do. But I think this is really, of my last 10 games with Raven or against Raven, I saw one win of a Raven, and all the other games got lost. I think the bird is really not as good as it used to be before the European expansion. I'm not going so far as to claim that it should be removed from the house rules, but I think it's not as scary as it used to be. Well, but yeah, this was still a very interesting game with many attractive and powerful birds. Sadly, this didn't suffice to beat the grubby engine of Will. But yeah, so I actually have no clue how this tournament works, but this is my 3rd loss, I think. I don't know, but I got assigned 10 opponents and I will play them, and then somebody will tell me if the tournament continues for me or not. So, and so my maximum score that I can reach now is, I think, 7-3. So we'll see if that's enough, if I reach it at all. Well, thank you for watching, and make sure to click on the link in the description to see Will's perspective of this rather interesting game.